it before it would have otherwise shut down.
What? Why are we live?
We're live. The fuck?
What?
I didn't hit live. How is any of this happening?
Neither of us can hit live. What the fuck?
I don't suppose you did that either.
No. Well, no. I don't know what's going on. Anyways.
I mean, you and I would not put up whatever the fuck this is with the swastika in the background.
Oh, I pulled the video up.
Okay, you did. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, we are living up to our low reputation already. And we don't know what the fuck's going on.
Well, hey, I found that video of church dancing, so I thought we should open with that. Welcome, everybody, to the Church of Failure. I don't know what's going on right now. I am so confused.
Nobody knows.
I'm horribly confused.
Yes, the gospel of comics, where everything doesn't make any sense. This is the multiverse of madness.
Oh, Church is here now.
Excellent. Maybe he knows what's going on.
Are you just fucking with us in the back end?
I mean, he could.
Church testing. I mean, I'll pull up another stupid video. I got plenty of them.
Tonight is the night of stupid videos, apparently.
I mean, is that any different than any week?
Not really. I was asked recently what our podcast was about, and the closest I could get that seemed, real was sort of pop culture.
Sort of. I mean, we're just bros hanging out.
Okay, that sounds like the lead into a David Dakota film.
What'd you just call me? No, I would say.
Have you never heard of David Dakota?
No.
So he's a B-grade director of some repute. But as his career has gone on, as it moved into the modern century, he's just gotten very lazy. And so his films are kind of like garbage tier.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
The world went down.
I understood every word of that.
Oh yeah. And the his most recent film, or not even his most recent film, which is the film that made him more recently famous, was reviewed by Red Letter Media, and is Bigfoot versus D.B. Cooper.
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
Despite how cool that movie could be, 90% of it is just shirtless dudes. It is very clearly the director's barely concealed fetish.
Shut your whore mouth, Vern. You don't know good cinema when you see it.
I mean, I do, but it's not that. Now, if it was shirtless chicks, maybe, but shirtless dudes.
Oh, you should watch
underwear being molested by a Sasquatch.
Ayrton, I feel like my man here is low key putting Roadhouse down, and for that we got to drag him outside and beat the fuck out of him.
No, Roadhouse is amazing.
It's a bunch of shirtless dudes beating the fuck out of each other.
Right. No, beating the fuck out of each other. It's not a bunch of shirtless dudes standing in front of a mirror talking about how cool they are while holding guns.
That's Roadhouse 2.
No, I cannot describe. If you've never look, I will subject myself to the pain. If you have never seen this film, Church, we could watch D.B. Cooper versus Bigfoot.
It's wonderful.
I cannot describe how painfully gay this film is.
Now, Rune, if you want a bad movie that has a bunch of shirtless chicks, watch a movie called Dick Shark.
I mean,
or From Dusk Till Dawn.
Terrible.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
That's a Tarantino flick where he wrote himself in to suck on Selma Hayek's toes.
Oh, that one. Okay.
It was reasonably a good film until I knew that. Now that I know that, as I've known that for a while, I feel less inclined to watch it.
Why? You don't want to see Selma Hayek get her toes sucked?
Not by
What are you, a
fucking
communist?
Tarantino, he's a little troll. I also don't give a shit about his fucking opinions.
So Larry may or may not be joining us. Apparently, I don't know. He
Depends
said
on
he's
if
going to
it's-
be 10 minutes late.
It depends on if his friends can pause the weather machine long enough.
Is there a football game on? He might be watching a coin toss again. That was a good joke. I just hate that it got shit all over.
I thought it was good. I laughed at it.
And Ollie, what's the weather in Florida? It's gonna rain.
Well, you know.
Thanks, Ollie.
I think I said it perfectly in the chat. Let's see here. Suck my dick, Florida. Some asshole named Milton, probably. So I guess while we wait on Ayrton, while we wait on Larry, I actually read some comic books.
Oh my god.
In preparation for the show.
Oh my god.
And I only mildly hate myself for it.
Well, what
that's
were
a good
the comics?
change of pace.
Huh?
What were they? What were the comics?
Well, I'm waiting on Larry. I'm not gonna get into it yet.
Well, I can bring up. Do you remember the chick making the puppet of her ex-boyfriend?
Yeah.
There's a sequel to it.
Okay. All right.
So give me a sec. If you remember right, part of the reason they broke up is because he wouldn't stop robo-tripping.
Okay.
So see here, the comment here, where is his tiny Robitussin? I need to know.
I told myself I would never cook for a man, but when I heard the puppet of my ex-boyfriend say, "I need Robitussin, where's my Robitussin?" something in me just snapped. I made a promise to myself that I wouldn't enable him anymore, but after releasing a song about him the other day, I thought he might need a little something to get him through it. So I got started by pulling out some felt, and I began outlining the shape of the bottle.
Wait a minute. I have to ask a question.
Yes.
What color was the puppet man?
Was he yellow?
And she's making him a bigger, blacker Robitussin?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we have a lower Chiron for that.
Before cutting it out. I didn't want this bottle to last him very long, so instead of sewing it, I decided to get out my hot glue gun. While I waited for it to heat up, I told him this would be his last bottle. Again. Then, when I went to use the glue gun, it was jammed, so I had to get out a new one. I can only imagine that this is karma for trying to separate him from the dust. So I guess it's my fault at the end of the day. Alas, after creating the base of the bottle, it was time to cut.
You know, she could have just used like one of those bottle koozies.
The white part before
I wonder, can you get a Robitussin bottle koozie?
Look, man,
I'll look it up.
And it's a do-it-myself video. They always find a way to do things more difficult than they have to.
Hold up. This is the crazy puppet lady.
Yeah.
After stuffing the bottle.
Yeah, she's making a bottle of Robitussin because
but then I decided
her chat demanded it. Apparently,
predispositions I may or may
I'm not seeing it. I am seeing a prescription bottle koozie for a beer can.
The colorful elements and gluing them into place. And then for some reason, I
pretty
decided
good.
It would be a great idea to hand
But
cut
a Robitussin bottle koozie—that's something that we need to make.
Add that to the list for the store.
All these things in the store that are never going to get made.
So hold up. You know, you'd have to make it say Tussin. You can't be Robitussin. You can do scissor up too.
No. So you make it Robo, like a robot Tussin.
Mm.
That's how you do
it. But that might get a little too close. But Tussin Tustin's been done a lot of comedy jokes.
Fair.
No,
So,
but see, Robo Tussin is on brand because I'm a robot.
No.
Right.
Hmm.
In
See?
the
See?
process, it still felt like something was missing. I wanted to make sure.
Oh,
he
kind of
really
like that. That's actually not bad. I don't hate this.
with the tuss.
Googly eye, it's very good.
A face.
Like it's almost cute, isn't it?
Before I began
Yeah.
gluing
She might be a crazy puppet lady, but like she has some serious skill that only the crazy and the tism can give you.
so that the bottle looked just as worried as I was every time he robo-tripped. After adding these final touches, I gave it one more look before I called over the puppet of my ex-boyfriend to come see the bottle. It was at this point that I realized my actions have consequences, and addiction is nuanced, but so is trying to cope with it.
Very good.
So
Very good.
So that was what I missed in my 10 minutes of being late.
Yeah.
Is that the Hurricane, Larry?
Yes.
That is Hurricane Helms.
Okay, good. I'm glad that I recognized it without knowing what I was looking at.
And I am Dungeon Crawler Hurricane Carl this week.
And I'm a family company.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
And much as the last 2 weeks, I have such sights to show you.
So,
So,
what do we want to open with before I get into my reviews?
Well, I mean, I think we need to open with your reviews because I have 2 reviews that are going to take up a good hunk of time.
I have 4 reviews.
Mm.
Are they going to take up a good hunk of time?
It depends. It depends on how angry they make everyone.
Yeah, fair enough.
I had to pull some stuff up. Let's split this up, Larry. You start with one, and I'll get my medium ready for my visuals, and then.
So I'm gonna start with the good review.
Okay.
The
No,
good
don't
review
start with the good review. We need the good review at the end.
Yeah, we need the palate cleanser.
You're gonna make me open and talk about the Joker movie, aren't you?
Yes, because see, then I can counter it by talking about Deadpool and Wolverine.
So here's the thing: the Joker movie is not going to make me mad because
It's gonna make me mad.
I already knew it was garbage before they ever got to this point, and now that people are like, "But it's bad," I'm like, "Why the fuck did you pay for it?" And I'm nuts. You knew it was going to be bad.
I didn't pay for it.
I do have
you made
a picture.
The better choice.
I do have a picture, Church, that's relevant to the Joker movie.
Darkened alley in the cardboard box of a multiversal movie reviewer.
Is that a ladybug in someone's asshole?
It is. It was found during a colonoscopy, and it's alive.
Very good.
So,
that is awful, Aaron.
So that is
I hate
review
it.
of the Joker.
So I did consult with an acquaintance who is a major movie reviewer, and he said that Todd Phillips took all of the incel dialogue about the original Joker movie to heart, and he assumed that everybody who loved it to the point of it being worth $1 billion were just a bunch of incels. And so he decided to make...
Are you saying that Todd took all of his internal incel thoughts and turned them into the Joker too?
No.
Sounds more legit.
God, no. God, no. Todd's not an incel. But he wants you to know how much he hates you for being an incel. And that is the creative impetus for the second Joker movie. Is, no, you guys need to hate this character. And so I'm going to spend the entire movie humiliating him. And then he's going to get gang raped by a bunch of prison guards and shanked.
Okay.
Gay!
I mean, yes, it is gay. So the movie takes a while, like the first Joker movie. It has lots of lingering shots. Arthur Fleck goes about his world. All of that is shot beautifully. Joaquin Phoenix does an excellent performance as Arthur Fleck, but we don't have enough of him being the Joker. It's
Isn't
like
it a musical?
Yes, we're going to get to that. The musical part isn't the problem.
I mean,
and
it really is. But carry on.
And the Joker's life, Arthur Fleck's life, is fine, when he follows the rules. But when he stops following the rules, stops taking his medication, things start getting very real and going very wrong for him. And he decides to stop taking his medication because he has the opportunity to have sex with an actual woman, who is our titular Harley Quinn. But unlike the comic book Harley Quinn, who is corrupted and seduced by the Joker, this Harley Quinn is there to corrupt and seduce Arthur Fleck, who has a Occupy Wall Street / Black Lives Matter style political movement based around him. It's more Project Mayhem from Fight Club, though, if we really want to talk about it, because the ending of the movie is the ending of the book Fight Club in a realistic sense. But once the Joker is introduced to Harley, we begin to get music.
Now,
Because
Larry,
music,
you are aware that the book Fight Club had 2 sequels in comic book form, correct?
yes, they were both garbage.
They were both terrible, yes, but they did exist.
And the author made the mistake of ruining his ending by making comic books that made even less sense.
Yes. Yeah,
It
that is
was
exactly
awful.
what happened.
So once the Joker interconnects with Harleen, who identifies herself as Lee initially, he begins to have more singing, and all of his delusions are mostly musical. But what I like about the movie is it opens with a Looney Tunes gag. So the movie wants you to know it's going to show contempt for you, and it's mad that you liked the original movie. And I like that they open with that. They open letting you know that that's what's going to happen.
At least they're honest with their hatred.
Yes, yes. And Harley eventually has sex with Joker and uses that to use the classic "I'm pregnant" line to make him believe everything she has to say. And he eventually throws out his attorney. Now,
Wait,
his attorney
do the stairs from the original movie come back into play after she says she's pregnant?
no,
Via
they
him
do not.
throwing her down them?
No, they do not.
That
Because
would have been a good movie.
because by the time he encounters her on those stairs, he is 100% a simp, and she abandons him for being a simp.
This was
So
not the same director, right?
it was the same director.
Wow.
His
I'm amazed
attorney.
he missed the point of his own work.
Well, no, it's not that he missed it. It's that he's angry that people had sympathy for Arthur Fleck, which was the point of his movie.
What, that he was a sympathetic person in a horrible situation that became a horrible thing because we're horrible people?
Yes.
Can I just point out, when the first Joker movie was announced, I'm on record saying having a backstory and origin for the Joker is retarded.
But the first Joker movie ended up being good. Accident.
I'm just saying. I was right.
I mean, on top of that, let's just keep in mind, DC itself agrees that having a backstory for the Joker is retarded.
So
the official DC stance is we can't pick one, so multiple choice. Any of the Joker origins are the Joker's actual origin.
And also there are multiple Jokers.
And there, well, yeah, and what I was going to get at, thank you for saying that, is that even though there are multiple Jokers, the storyline leading to that revelation was much more interesting than the storyline exploring it.
Yes. So we have Arthur have as an attorney who's incompetent, who's arguing a spurious legal argument to try to get him off.
Also, I'm breaking into the whiskey right now.
And the psychologist is making a spurious psychological argument, and they're leading and manipulating Arthur into playing into what they believe.
Well, what are the arguments? Because
their legal argument is he's not guilty due to mental disease and defect because he has dissociative identity disorder, even though he doesn't display any of the symptoms of that. And the lawyer is clearly trying to manipulate the psychologist, and the psychologist is clearly trying to convince the world that this celebrity is not guilty because he has dissociative identity disorder. And Arthur just plays along with what these two women want for him, which becomes an interesting thematic through line that all of the women in a position to protect him are actively harming him. It's very weird. I don't understand what Todd Phillips is trying to tell us with this message, especially considering it's a message about how incels are wrong. It's very confusing to me. Now, there's a large portion of this movie, about half of it.
Maybe the overall message is that you either die hating the incels or live long enough to see yourself become one.
About half the movie is focused on the court sequences. Now, court and legal procedurals have certain aspects of drama that are like the interesting parts of the court. All of those have been cut out. So he's in court. They cut out where the interesting stuff's going to happen, and they focus in on sequences of this guy's a pathetic loser who nobody loves, and nobody wants to have sex with. Yes, that is appropriate. That is an appropriate response to all of this. And he becomes the Joker finally in his hearing. He assumes the role as his own attorney. He refuses to present a defense case. And then in closing arguments, he says, listen, I can't be the Joker anymore, man. It's hard trying to be the Joker. And it's all about, the movie wants you to think, oh, he's like talking about being a celebrity, right? How it's hard to be on all the time for the people. And how Harley Quinn is actually like an obsessed fan who doesn't love the man, but who loves the celebrity iconic status and bullshit like that. And as Arthur Fleck is about to be sentenced, they car bomb the courthouse, which leads to Harvey Dent becoming Two-Face, like in the comic books.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
But there's no Batman in this world.
Not yet.
If they put a Batman in this world and it's not a AI generated Adam West, then
this
rioting.
world that they've created is not good enough for Adam West.
That's why it only gets the AI generated Adam West with 6 fingers and 2 thumbs.
Well, the reason I say that is because if you're going to give me a film with an AI generated Adam West, as much as I like Joaquin Phoenix, because I do like him as an actor, I don't want him as the Joker. I want an AI generated George Romero. Or no, not George Romero.
Caesar Romero.
Caesar Romero. I want the actual Joker for that Batman. The good one. The fun one.
But after the car bombing, Arthur Fleck wanders out, and some Joker gang members get him into a car, like going, "Oh my God, it's him! We have him! We need to get him somewhere for a doctor." And then he runs away from these people down the same street he ran away from the people who tried to murder him when he was a clown. He gets arrested after he confronts Harley, who doesn't need him anymore. She's now the face of his movement. He gets taken in back to Arkham. He gets gang raped by the guards, and then later a guy who he had a homoerotic kiss with becomes a psychotic obsessed fan and shanks him.
Brian, you are a genius and you deserve a cookie. We don't have them, but you deserve it.
And that is the Joker movie. The music is all right. It fits, but the problem with the music is most of the musical numbers are the Joker's delusions, but the delusions don't actually inform the story. They inform his love feelings for Harley that you never actually see in the text of the film.
Yeah,
So,
I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, the terrible part is I can't even actually be angry at how stupid the musical parts are because of 2 reasons. One, I don't know what it is. I don't know why, but people are in love with the show Glee, and ever since that show became popular, like many a TV show has been like, we need to be a musical or have musical numbers. So it's just spread like a cancer. Right.
I will say, in the defense of the CW, the musical episode they did of the Flash Supergirl crossover was actually okay.
Sure, but this inspired people to make a musical episode of Star Trek.
Also, predating Glee, Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel both did musicals.
And
Still-
Repo the Genetic Opera and
No,
what's the
that's the
Johnny
thing, that's the
Depp one.
No, here's the thing. A film being a musical as a standalone object, perfectly fine, because you can choose to ignore it, right? TV shows inspiring other TV shows, inspiring other TV shows, all doing the same thing, and it's not a one-off, but is a trend. Bad.
I don't know.
That's
Did you watch the Psych musicals? Because those are pretty funny.
No,
That's,
because I have taste, so I don't watch Psych.
Psych's a great show. What are you talking
Psych is
about?
an
Psych is
amazing show.
Psych is an amazing show.
You are
But
all welcome to be wrong.
leading in with Rune's description of one thing leading into one thing leading into one thing, I have a review of a
Sounds
comic
like my
book.
night last night.
But before I get into that review, I want to point out that usually when I start drinking liquor, I get my trusty little shot glass here, and I pour a shot, and I take the shot. This
Mhm.
time, I got my trusty little shot glass. I poured the shot, and then I proceeded to drink the rest of the bottle from the bottle. But thank you for that, Larry. But it's not all
Well,
your fault
I mean, you should thank
Because
Todd Phillips.
because I have read a comic book,
Hmm.
and against my better judgment, I'm going to review it for you guys.
What comic
So-
book?
Storm issue number 1, From the Ashes, A New Beginning.
Storm as in X-Men Storm?
X-Men Storm, yes.
Post
I mean-
Krakoa?
Wait, she
I mean,
has
the-
her own book?
She does now.
She
Oh,
does.
I'm-
She's an Avenger.
Oh God, no! I'm so sorry. Why did you do
So-
this? Why would you
so-
do this to yourself, Church?
Here we go. Let's see the issue here.
Show us on the doll where the comic book touched you. Can we get
So,
you a wet
In
nap
in
or
the
something?
hurdy place, but it opens
God,
up,
no.
and Storm is basically Oprah. She has a giant mansion with all of her headdresses and her shoes and her dresses. She's walking around with in a robe with her boobs halfway out, and there's an announcer announcing her arrival to this this press conference type deal. It goes through the whole thing: who is Storm, the Queen of Wakanda, Region of Akara, an X-Man, an Avenger, a Weather Witch, a pickpocket, blah 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 blah. And you find out that she's been building something called the Storm Sanctuary. So already we have a callback to every storyline in the X. God damn it, Riders of the Storm. Jesus fucking Christ. In the X-Men world, we have a trope of mutants trying to form an alternative habitat. Whether it be Magneto's meteorite, whether it be Krakoa, whether it be
Genosha?
I don't know.
Genosha. That was the meteorite, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
No,
Genosha was an
Genosha-
island.
Asteroid M.
Yeah.
Oh, right,
M's the
Asteroid
meteorite.
M.
Genosha
You're right.
is the South Africa, not we swear, state.
Right. So, I mean, we've always had this trope of mutants, creating and developing a safe haven for other mutants
So-
and people with powers.
Wasn't that Xavier's school? 'Cause I thought
Yeah.
that was Xavier's
no,
school.
Yeah.
no. There's
But Xavier School was meant to integrate mutant kind with humanity.
right. There's a key thing that has been lost in the narrative, because I think I've talked about it here, but if I haven't, it's like an idea I have in the back of my head, which is that in the beginning, as you say, Xavier School was supposed to integrate mutant kind with humanity, right? We're going to learn how to control our powers, and then we're going to use them for the benefit of others. Imagine that.
Mhm.
Genosha was South Africa. It was an apartheid state with mutants, and the mutants took over, right? Asteroid M was what if mutant Malcolm X tried his mutant nationalism shtick and it didn't work. Genosha didn't work.
Krakoa
Haven,
didn't work.
right? Haven didn't work. Whatever South American micronation that Cable tried to make didn't work. And the lesson was always supposed to be that mutants isolating themselves exposes them to danger, because what you don't know you fear. So mutants
Well-
integrating is the actual answer. But
So-
somewhere in the last 25, let's say, years, really, maybe 30 now, because we're in 2024, it's changed this idea that no, the mutant nation is the correct and ideal place because it's the nation as safe place to keep us apart from all of those filthy humans. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
So that's exactly my point. So we're told that Storm is creating Storm Sanctuary, and she's about to have a press conference, and then we flash back to a week ago in Oklahoma City, where there is an explosion at a nuclear plant, and Storm and who's the other one? I forget her name. Frenzy of the X Force. This girl boss in suspenders. I can show a brief clip of this, I think, without getting us taken off. Let me change screens here. Boo, boo, boo. Does this? I don't think this works, does it? Nope. Well, anyway, Storm and Frenzy are trying to protect people from the aftershocks and the explosions of a nuclear plant. Okay. They even have this one clip where Frenzy is pulling a bigot of Orcus and his daughter from the rubble, and she flashes red, and Storm's like, "Snap out of it! We save everyone!" But they get into the heart of the nuclear power plant and discover it is a mutant, like, coming into his powers that is causing all these explosions, right? So I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a storyline where Xavier sent Wolverine into the mountains to confront and basically murder a mutant because everyone he touched turned to dust.
Oh
Yep,
yeah,
I
I
know this
remember
bit.
that one.
It was
And
very
he
sad.
shared a beer with the kid and had to kill him.
Yeah.
I think he brought in McDonald's too.
No, I think it was just a 6-pack.
I swear. Oh no, I think the kid just stole a bunch of. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I remember
But,
McDonald's bags being in the scene.
But yeah. So you remember that, and you remember how heartfelt that was, and how we only needed to see that trope one good time to understand that it happens.
And they
Well-
didn't even actually show it.
Right.
They just had him explaining to the kid what needed to
Well-
happen, and then
Well, this
there was a
this
wide
writer,
shot of the cave.
right? This writer decided that they were so much better than that story that Storm stopped this kid from causing nuclear explosions by giving him a hug.
Hold on, run that by me again.
Yeah. So he's going through multiple nuclear explosions and causing all sorts of hell to break loose. And Storm approaches him and gives him a hug, and that saves the day.
Is it like one of those hugs when like the chick like smashes your face into her titties?
No.
Because I could see that working.
No.
You know, I'm glad I went to get a cherry cobbler while Church was describing all of this.
Well,
I clearly made the better choice.
See, remember, Ayrton, because you have the world's largest micropenis, you may not understand that if you were a soy lord, right, you would believe that men can only destroy things. So a story in which Wolverine kills a kid with powers, that's a man story, right? But a woman's story is about how the power of the vagina is so powerful that if Storm steps in as your proxy mom and hugs you, your life is just magnitudes infinitely better.
I guarantee you, on average, women are way more destructive to somebody else's life than your average dude.
You're trying to apply logic and reason. The two things, and accountability. The three things that don't apply in feminist fiction.
I'm only about halfway through, guys.
God damn it!
Jesus Christ!
So after Storm's hug stops this kid from exploding, we flash forward another couple of days. And in doing so, she's consulting Tony Stark because she's an Avenger now. And
Right.
she
Give a
asked
shit what
Tony.
Tony thinks.
She asked Tony whether he can find out, if this is the work of the alien technology that's in play at this nuclear facility that everyone's discovered. By the way, there's alien technology at this nuclear
Of
facility.
course.
But she's like, "Did you run the numbers?" And he's like, "Yeah, I did. It's not looking good for you, Toots." And she says, "Well, how many times did you run the numbers?" And you could tell this book was written by someone who obviously doesn't know Tony Stark, because his first response is, "I don't ask how you create indoor rain clouds, Storm." Tony Stark would absolutely ask how that happens. Secondly, he gives her the numbers like 8,866,978,275 times on multiple machines through various quantum processing units using several algorithms, including some designed by Reed Richards, Lunella Lafayette, Ford, Riri Williams, and your former sister Shuri. So let's just put this into perspective. Tony Stark would never use anybody else's technology or algorithm. Fuck those guys. Tony Stark thinks he's better than all of them.
Well, here's the thing. This writer, whoever they are,
She.
okay, is so enamored with how cool they are that they're having Tony check his math against a metric wall of individuals, so that you, the reader, cannot question whatever assertion they make as being right or wrong, unless Storm magically finds themselves
But
a
this
character,
puts
because it's Storm's book, so Storm is right, no
well,
matter
this
what
put
the fuck someone else says.
well, this puts Storm at a crossroads, because she either has to defend mutant kind by lying and saying that the alien technology was the cause of the explosion,
Mhm.
or expose that it was the manifestation of a mutant's powers.
Well, we already know that the answer, because of film and television, is that Storm will support mutant rights, because there's nothing wrong with you, even if you can't touch people. That's clearly the fault of the alien tech
Oh,
guys.
absolutely. But the thing
Yeah.
is she comes out and she actually does explain that, while this is a terrible situation, and we're experiencing a harmony between humans and mutants never once seen before, that she has to, morally be the character and say it was a mutant. And then you see several panels of just people being disgusted with her and fucking walking out, walking away from her rally. And
You
just,
mean because she told the truth? A politician
yes,
told the truth and people are mad now?
yes.
Hmm.
So, also she wants to run for Congress, but that's behind her now because she's coughing up blood because she took on a lot of radiation. And then out
Right.
of fucking nowhere, she's summoned by eternity into space.
Well, remember, these aren't
No,
really the
no.
X-Men.
Summoned by eternity into space, and he calls her his eternal storm. And then you get a to be
Wow.
continued.
I mean, she's clearly
Now,
part
this
of
might
eternity.
strike some viewers as harsh, but I believe everyone involved in this story should die.
Yes.
So
Take me, God. I don't want to be
the
on this
last
planet
page,
anymore.
the last page, literally, like it has nothing to do with the rest of the story. Like the rest of the story, while it wasn't great, had some potential to lead somewhere interesting. And then you pull in the cosmic entity eternity into it and say, "Oh, I'm choosing you to probably replace me."
Well, I mean, the fact of the matter is that all that shit is the fault of the Phoenix. And I don't mean in a story setting sense. I mean in a structure of X-Men storytelling sense.
Well, that's kind of what I was getting at when I said that this comic book is a new writer who obviously probably loves the X-Men. I'm not going to take that away from them. They probably love X-Men, but they're taking everything that they love about X-Men and they're trying to shove it into a story centered around Storm.
Well, you could have a Storm-centric story, but you need to
No, I'm not
trim.
saying you can't have but they're trying to shove everything they love about the
Right,
overarching
right. You need
X-Men
to trim the
archetype
fat. You need to focus your
They've
narrative.
got the Storm Sanctuary in play. They've got an X-Man running for politician in play. They've got an X-Man with the moral conundrum about an emerging mutant in play, and a mutant whose powers basically kills everyone and they can't control it.
Right.
So that's
All
four
at
things.
once, and that's the problem.
And then they've got the eternity angle going on the very last page.
That's
to
too
be
many
continued.
things.
The
Right.
absolutely useless eternity angle.
In
But-
28 pages, you've got more than 15 tropes that just make no
You
fucking
know,
sense.
I got a question for you. You remember back when Storm was a relatable character? When,
Yes.
Yeah, Mohawk Storm.
Yeah, long
Yeah.
ago.
or do you remember how she lost her powers and we had a whole arc about how Storm had to learn how to deal with not having her powers?
Yeah.
You remember when she was relatable on a level where she could kind of hang out with anybody from humans to gods, and she
Mhm.
Look,
she
let's
was involved in the
let's
Secret Wars,
let's
and
not
she
be
went out
glib.
on a
Let's not be glib. Let's amend. Do you
on a
remember when the
rooftop.
X-Men were relatable and could hang out with people?
Yeah,
Look. Just because they were ethno-nationalist terrorists who were running a narco syndicate, that doesn't mean that they're not relatable. Oh, wait,
but
it does.
I mean, we've all been there.
In a post 9/11 world, you think that somehow terrorists are relatable?
but I've got a couple of other comic book reviews. So I'll do one more, and then we'll throw it back to Larry.
Well, before we get into it, I do want to ask, because I don't recall, whose bright idea was it, actually, to say, hey, you know what would be great for X-Men? What if we made the X-Men Al-Qaeda?
Jonathan Hickman.
Yeah.
Yes,
Because remember, Al-Qaeda is funded by drug sales, by being an
Mhm.
international producer and
No, they're
distributor
funded by
of
the
quads.
CIA.
correct. Which are funded by
Say-
drug
say-
sales.
Yeah.
Right.
And don't forget, not only were they a narco syndicate, they were a narco syndicate that was supported by all the major corporations, countries, and celebrities of the world. Don't forget that part.
Right.
Speaking of drug sales, you guys like Swamp Thing?
Not really.
Sometimes.
Well, what if Boom Studios did Swamp Thing but worse?
Wow, that's an accomplishment.
Well, I mean, isn't
How do you
Swamp Thing a
fuck up
DC
Alec
Comics
Holland?
property?
That's why Boom Studios is doing Swamp Thing but worse. So we've got
Look. I mean, if you want to do Swamp Thing but better, you have Man Thing.
Oh, I love Man Thing. Man Thing's amazing.
But
Listen,
Boom Studios is doing this.
Boom Studios has some wonderfully insane comics.
And this is
let's
one
not
of them.
And let's not forget that Man Thing had the best titled comic book of all time, Giant Sized Man Thing.
Well,
What-
I'm
Wasn't
Go
that
ahead.
series we reviewed part of years ago with like that crazy chick with a like stuffed octopus that talked to her and she like fought monsters trying to kill children?
No.
Wasn't that Boom Studios?
Oh, that was probably Boom Studios.
Do you remember what I'm talking about, Church?
I think so.
This was like 3 or 4 years ago. This was
So let's hear about how Boom Studios has taken What If a Guy Turns into a Plant Monster and made it worse.
Well, this isn't What If a Guy Turned into a Plant Monster. This is, and first off, I want to show some of the artwork in this because the artwork is just, I really love this style. Let me get some of these images queued up, and I'll just share the tab.
something is killing the children. That's the name of the series, and yes, it is Boom Studios.
You know what? You know what would have made that a better story? If the answer was Jeffrey Epstein.
Well, we never got to the end of it. I think we reviewed like the first
Now-
like 5 issues or
Now,
something.
see, that is a comic I want to see. If anybody is out there in the comic sphere and you're
So,
listening to me, you want to
this-
make $1 million, do a story in which a superhero goes to Epstein Island and kills Jeffrey Epstein before he has a chance to do anything awful. That's the story.
This is the artwork in the book, and I don't know why, but I really love this like gritty, super pencil-y style. And this is a black metal show. but you get this really creepy, like fish and insect creatures underneath the surface of this concert while it's going on, and I really fucking dig this. Now the story is dog shit. Don't get me wrong.
But
They
is it Avatar dog shit?
yes,
Okay.
because your first encounter with some of the characters, like at first I didn't think I was going to be able to finish this book because they're speaking a foreign language, which I can only assume is like German or Finnish or some shit like that. But it's a black metal band, and they approach a photographer who's taking pictures of them, and they're speaking a foreign language. But then she can only speak English, and they're put off because she only speaks English, and they call her a fucking tourist. Which, I mean, you're a musician. A lot of people that come to your shows are going to be fucking tourists.
Yeah, if she's a tourist and a journalist, I mean, because that'd be
But
the implication.
she makes friends with somebody outside after this encounter. They go to a bar. They have some drinks. Afterwards, they're introduced to the band after another show. So there's a lot of panels in this where you just like red overtones, like those first couple of pages. A bunch of crowd work, and somebody took the time to really fill in a lot of the detail. Now, obviously, it's not like someone painstakingly drew the eyes and noses of all of these people, but they did a really good job of filling up the page. So the art in this book, 10 out of 10. If the writing wasn't like 2 out of 10, I'd be really impressed. But anyway, she gets introduced to the band, and they basically get her drunk and take her out into the woods. And there's a bunch of, talk about how the woods are prime evil. And, just a bunch of hail Satan this, just out of fucking nowhere.
So someone that knows nothing about the European metal scene. Got it.
Correct.
Speaking
But
of European metal scene, I have something to show you guys when Church is done with this review.
Now,
they drug her and go ahead.
now, are you familiar with European death metal, Moon Knight?
Yes,
What do you mean? Of course he is.
dude.
Well, like for
Have
example,
I not gone on a multi-minute rant about Varg?
Well, there's like a whole lot of different things. Like, for example, there was a whole era where German death metal only included 7 words, of which
Yeah.
darkness, shit, damnation, and hell were like 3 of the words.
Right. But
That's
after
4 words,
Varg
Larry.
started burning down churches and murdering his bandmate, the European metal scene went, you know what, maybe Satanism's a bit much for us.
But basically, they drug this girl and they string her up in the woods and sacrifice her to some eldritch primordial god of the woods. Basically, turning her, what I can only assume is into the Swamp Thing or a Wendigo or some crazy shit like that.
I mean, that
It-
even though I
it's
don't
not.
like how they're doing it, that is almost good. That's almost interesting to me.
It's almost interesting. It's just too hard to follow. It's too scattershot.
It,
Like
it sounds really
they
convoluted.
had an idea, and it wasn't a bad idea. And when they went to execute it, they did it poorly with great artwork.
Well, like if they had
Oh, what's up,
started.
Weeb?
Here's the thing.
Hey, long
I'm-
time no see, Weep.
serious argument. If they had started with the sacrifice and then had like one page, like a very small series of flashbacks about her life, how she got here, and then got to the process of transforming, right?
Mhm.
So that we're getting right into it, media res, maybe. But you're describing like multiple pages go into building up this character, their life, their death, the process, this thing about the evils of metals. It's like it seems really undercooked.
I mean, and it's so sad because the artwork is just so beautiful in the thing. Like, I really, really wanted to like this. Like, here, I've got some more pages to show you. It's just, oh God, it's so good, and I hate that they just did it so poorly. Like this is during the sacrifice portion.
Yeah, that artwork
Like-
is sick.
Yeah, like you get points where they're attaching her to this like tree cross or whatever, carving the runes into her skin, and then the aftermath of which, and then her strung up on the tree, and then there's this fucking eldritch forest creature like breathing new life into her, and then they discover a corpse after they cut her down, and or they cut her corpse down, and they're like, fuck it, we're not even gonna bury her, and this is the band all walking off. But this artwork is just fucking beautiful, and the execution's just not there for me. So I don't know. That's the creeping below. Like I
That
said,
is really sad, but at the same time, I'm pleased that it's just honestly bad and not like self-satisfied, smugly
like,
better than thou bad.
it like if whoever did this revisits it after another 5 or 10 books where they work on a property and figure it out, then I think they could redo this book much better. I think that this is just a Halloween themed or a spooky themed thing that they were trying to push out in October, and it just got rushed and it just wasn't well thought out. I'm probably going to read issue 2 when it comes out in December, just to see if it gets any better. But if it doesn't, that's kind of it for me. So much better than Storm though, because the artwork was at least something to look at that wasn't a bunch of digital bullshit.
So a buddy of mine found this band, Electric Callboy, and basically imagine if you mixed like Eurovision EDM with Bring Me the Horizon.
Submitted for your disapproval.
No, it's amazing. It's so good. And they're German. That's why I thought of it.
I mean, they are very clearly German.
Is that a penis drink?
Yes.
And a penis haircut too. Give a tiny hand with the microphone. That's fantastic.
yes, he does.
The other finger has a middle finger on it.
Yep.
How did you record my acid trip the last time?
Skill. The answer is skill.
Come on, is that not awesome?
That is pretty awesome. That's
Again, I just want to know how you got the video camera in my brain.
That's up there with Oakley Dokley.
So
And the Australian guy that made the song that sounds like American songs,
Oakley
but
Dokley? No,
it's just
Oakley.
complete gibberish.
No. Oakley Dokley is a Ned Flanders themed metal band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what Oakley Dokley is.
Okay.
Have you seen Mick Sabbath, the McDonald's theme metal band?
Absolutely, I
have.
have.
So I got a question for y'all. Who here, other than me, watched Ranma 1.5?
I didn't know it was out yet.
What?
I don't
Well,
know what that is.
I'm at the original, the OG. Did you watch
I
the
don't know what
OG,
that
Rune?
is.
I did not watch the OG.
So back in the day, there was a anime that was taken from a manga called Ranma 1.5. So like Ranma was a dude who was really into martial arts, as was the way of the people of anime and manga. And he and his dad go off
As
to,
was the style at the time.
as was the style at the time. And he and his dad go off to do some martial arts. There's an accident. As a parallel story, his dad's best friend has a dojo, but he only has daughters. So he needs a man to take over the dojo and run the business for him, because that's the way it is, as is tradition, And one of his daughters has to marry Ranma, but little do they know that Ranma fell into the pool of the drowned woman, in the springs of the drowned woman, which means that when exposed to cold water, Ranma will turn into a chick. It just so happens that the dojo master had a daughter who hated dudes, and thought that dudes were icky and gross, and was more, lesbianish, right? So this was being remade with the original voice cast. The original creative team came back, and my immediate thought is, oh no, it's going to be on Netflix. This is going to be horrible. And they dropped the first episode on Netflix, and it was okay. It was pretty much the same as the first episode from the original series. There wasn't anything about, being trans, about what my pronouns are, and I even listened to it with the subtitle with the dub. So I tried to go all the way in for pain, and it was fine to okay. If you like classic anime that are given a reboot, this might be good. We got to give it another couple of episodes to see if Netflix ends up screwing it up, but I had a good time. I recommend it.
So I think I know what DC character this is based on. The magic user who's a man and a woman at the same time.
No, Ranma is actually an original concept.
It's original concept.
Yeah.
And Ranma's not a man and a woman at the same time. He gets turned into a woman against his will.
There are similar universal themes, but it's independently conceived. They weren't knocking anybody off.
And Ranma's dad gets turned into a giant-ass panda bear.
I mean, how the fuck old is Ranma 1/2? Again, let's...
Give me a second. Let's see what the Google says.
It's sufficiently old.
It is old.
The original run in the magazine was 1987 to 96, 38 volumes. So, sufficiently ancient.
Let's see here. I'm just trying to figure out who that character is now. It's
Danny the Street.
No. Oh God. It was the man and a woman simultaneously, like just depending on something. It was all fucking magic and shit. It's been so long since I read that book, and I only read it one time.
But Ranma sold over 49 million volumes in Japan and printed 53 million copies as of November of 2011. And by April of 2021, it sold 55 million copies in circulation. So it was fairly popular. And one of the characters in there was the one of the first characters that helped develop the tsundere archetype for characters. So it's also influential in the creation of manga. So I recommend it. It's a good time.
All right. Well, I did actually have an opportunity to watch Wolverine and Deadpool this week.
Mm-hmm.
It was good.
Which had a much better forced anal sex scene in it than the one in the Joker.
It did. It did. But no, I mean, I can't. I honestly don't have a single bad thing to say about it. It was exactly what I expected it to be. Maybe the hunt for a Wolverine could have been a little longer, and the other Wolverines could have been explored a little more. But even so, with the pacing, it was a nice, solid, tight 2 hours. They didn't put any extra fluff in it. We got like what? At least two good fight scenes between Deadpool and Wolverine, and then you got the final climactic fight. You found a perfect person to play a female James McAvoy.
I will throw out there that Spoilers if you haven't seen this movie. Otherwise, fuck off. I think that Hugh Jackman was super jazzed to finally get to wear the mask.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
I think the
That's
implication was he wanted to wear the mask the entire time, and they kept being like, no masks. We gotta have that face on brand. It's like, but I wanna wear the mask. And now here he finally gets to do it, and it's
well.
awesome.
It was a throwaway line in the original X-Men movie. Like, what do you want? Yellow spandex?
Yeah, no, I
Oh,
remember
yeah.
that. But that's more Bryan Singer's disdain for X-Men comics. And I think that Hugh Jackman's in-character response to that line is perfect.
Doesn't
We
he
don't
just like smirk or something?
know. If you recall, he flips Cyclops off with a single well-placed claw.
No, that's a different scene.
Still, that is our general opinion of people. They're like, comics are dumb because they're silly looking. It's like, fuck you. We don't care if the yellow spandex looks funny. We enjoy the yellow spandex,
Yeah,
asshole.
no, the middle finger claw scene, I think, is when they go into the Statue of Liberty and his adamantium sets off the metal detector and he stabs it.
Entirely plausible. Either way.
But no, I did. That was it was just good. I mean, I did like all the jabs at Fox, including the 21st Century Fox logo being dead in the background. Seeing Chris Evans being a shit talker at the end credit scene was fantastic because you're so used to him being Captain America that you just
Yeah,
don't expect that.
What did you think of like the way they handled the reveal of him being Johnny Storm, not Steve
It was
Rogers?
fucking hilarious.
It actually caught me because I thought it was going to be Cap. I thought, oh,
So did
it's
I.
Cap, and then it's not. But
Yeah,
at the
it
same
was.
time, I'm not saying no one. Obviously, people are paying attention to it, but I think I was one of the few people in the conversation watching it that remembered he had been Johnny Storm first, and his Johnny's not bad. Like, I don't understand why those movies are hated for what they are.
I
Only
love
that
them. I
only
think they're
that the Rise of the
great.
Silver Surfer film is terrible, but it's terrible because they tried to mix 616 and Ultimates, two things that do not go together.
And it's
So
still a fun movie. Like overall, like
Mhm.
the characters are still fun.
Right.
so
I know some
I
people are like, well, the Thing's makeup looks awful. It's like, no, the Thing's makeup looks good enough.
It looks like early 2000s.
Yeah.
It's- when did the first one come out? 2004?
Something like.
But still, the Roger Corman thing looked better.
The Roger Corman thing does look better, despite the fact he looks like a giant turd.
So I've got two more reviews. If you guys are ready for those.
Well, it
Excuse me a
depends.
second.
Tell us how
Perfect
ready we have
timing.
to get our body.
Okay, so the Fantastic Four film, the '94 one was the Roger Corman one, and then the two that we were talking about were 2005. Okay,
Oh,
2005,
Uh-huh.
2007. Then we had the
I was close.
2015 one that nobody
that-
cared
Which
about.
is awful.
That doesn't count.
Yeah, I actively skipped that. And then there's so we are led to believe that they're now in the cinematic universe because there was a guest spot in Multiverse of Madness. Like, see, we have the Fantastic Four too, guys. It's like, yeah, but that's not a Fantastic Four movie, folks. We're not. It's not gonna happen. I don't actually
No,
believe
it's gonna
the
happen.
2025 Fantastic Four
No.
First Steps is gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. They're actually doing principal photography.
Even so, I don't think it's gonna be good. I think it's been burned pretty hard. Like, they need to leave the Fantastic Four alone. And I personally think that making Robert Downey Jr. Doctor Doom is ass.
What was your question, Larry?
What are our choices for your review? We need to know how ready our bodies have to be.
I've got Skin Police by Oni Press, and then I've got I Know What You Did Last Crisis by DC Comics.
All right, I'm gonna need coffee
Church,
for one of those.
Church,
So I'm gonna go get
Church,
it now.
what have we done to you to make you hate us so much?
I mean, I've been doing this show for how many years,
look,
Ayrton?
not
What does Larry do to us every fucking week, Ayrton?
look, not knowing anything about Skin Police and Oni Press, that could be interesting. But I'm gonna need coffee for that. I Know What You Did Last Crisis bullshit.
I mean,
You'd be
I,
surprised.
I know about Oni Press. And that's why I asked Church, what have we done to upset him?
Is it
Well,
well? I have to ask the bar now. Is it Avatar bad?
no,
Okay, so it's not as bad as Avatar Press, but how bad is it? Like on a scale?
it's
So
not bad.
Oni Press has a business model of getting the most leftoid culture war products
Are
into
these the
comic book
people that did
form.
like Bitch Planet?
Uh,
I don't know about all of that. I'll just jump into that one then.
All right.
This seems to be the
All right.
I've got stuff pulled up for it. So this is Skin Police. Skin Police has a little motto, little thing that they give you right in the very beginning, a little diatribe to set the stage. It is 2142. A fertility pandemic grips the globe. Amidst its chaos, the black market for illegal clone babies thrives. War, government turmoil, coups, and a massive immigration means so-called duplicates are untraceable, often not aware themselves that they are living, breathing crimes against nature. What's worse is that their genetics are unstable. 3 in 4 of them will pop, immediately becoming vicious homicidal monsters. Countries and continents have taken their own individual approaches to this crisis. The United Nations of Europe have upheld unforgiving stance, creating a special government division to hunt down and remove the deadly ticking time bomb. They've named this task force the Duplicate Identification and Capture Division, but to everyone else, they are the Skin Police. So we open up in 2176, 30 years after this all starts, right? So you see someone getting on a plane. Um, they get a middle seat between an elderly couple. There's a crying baby. They rush off to the restroom, and they're having anxiety, thinking that they might be one of these duplicates. Because that's the thing, you have no idea whether you're a natural born person or a clone that could just pop and go psychotic at any moment. Well, they run to the airplane bathroom or the ship bathroom, whatever it is. Their ear to the nose starts bleeding, and when they walk out, they see everyone else on the ship as a fucking demon. Let's see. I think I've got something like that over here. Let's pull this up. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So again, I really love the artwork in this, but immediately you get a Judge Dredd kind of sense of what's going on because you have a police force in the far future that basically have no fucking rules or regulations when it comes to dealing with these people.
what do you
But
mean by these people?
yes, that's exactly what I mean. Z Germans. So immediately the this is called in when they start killing people on the plane, obviously, right? So we deploy a skin policeman and we drop him out of a fucking cargo carrier onto the plane with a wingsuit. And this works. So they eventually take over. Let's see. Yeah, they eventually take control of the situation and kill the, duplicate as they call it, and pilot the fucking plane back to the ground. They wake up the next day, and this is your lead character, by the way. This is what's his name? It's pretty bad. I just read this. I can't remember the guy's name. He's the main character.
Which
boo.
one? Fatty or red hair nondescript?
No. The main character is the guy that jumped out of the fucking plane. This guy.
Okay. Okay.
This is your main character.
So no idea who they are in a fucking baseball cap, but not half face mask.
Right.
Okay.
Um.
But here's the problem though. You're telling me okay, they go in and they deal with the problem, right?
Eckes is his name.
Except
He's your Stallone in this.
is that spelled EQQUS?
ECKIS.
Okay, so still stupid. But the thing is the very next page that those people having a conversation, or is the next page like a fight?
Oh, the next page is a fight. Like this is page 7. The next page is page
Okay.
12. I'm not showing the
Okay.
whole book.
No, I know. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't like having a stroke and they didn't put an entire combat scene in a we're not going to see it like a movie kind of thing.
No. You got to see it.
Okay.
It wasn't great, but you got to see it. But anyway, he shows up the next day at headquarters in Madrid, and apparently there is a resistance against the skin police because there's a resistance against people trying to stop psychotic fucking crazed clones from thinking everyone's a demon and trying to kill them.
And because cops are gay.
Yes. But then you get the Judge Dredd trope of the veteran officer who works alone, lone wolf style, getting teamed up with the young cadet, and it's her first day like on the force or whatever, and he's showing her the ropes, explaining how everyone's gonna hate you because you're a cop. What?
Oh, Brian now has the dream police inside of his head.
Yes.
You know, they come to you in your bed, the dream police.
The skin police enforce no fatties at the beach. That's correct.
They do.
Gross.
But
So let's hear about the very forgettable and very derivative DC comic.
oh no, we're not done with the skin police yet.
Can
So
we be done with the Skin Police?
No, we
No,
can't,
we
Larry.
signed on. We signed on for this.
No, we can't. So he gives her the explanation that people get so anxious over this shit that they'll commit suicide when they're in their mid-30s because that's around the time people pop. And even though they're fully biological people, there is a test, but it's so expensive that it's just impossible for the middle class to get. So there's your libtard interjection there. There's a way to figure this shit out, but people can't be fucked. And then your characters here, you have a stepmother who is very round and in a floating daybed, talking shit about her stepdaughter, who could potentially be a duplicate, and she runs away. She runs away, and because she hasn't been checked and she's been reported by her stepmother, so the skin police come to take her in and check her. Well, she runs and somehow gets away from this highly trained unit by throwing her undergarments. Let's see if I've got that page.
I mean, I too use that as a defense mechanism.
I have seen you do it, and it is very effective. Let's see here. I'll pull that page up so we can see it. Anyway, the rest of the book is this group going to interview a guy because his numbers basically come up, and instead of that's what I was looking for. Blade Runner and Judge Dredd. That's your main influences here.
But I mean, are didn't Judge Dredd influence Blade Runner?
Probably. But there's her throwing her undergarments at the cop to escape, but still getting hit by the bike somehow, but still getting away. The rest of the book is the grizzled veteran old cop and the new younger cop going to investigate a man who hasn't been in for a check. They find out that his wife and 2 kids have been sent on the run. And because they suspect him of being a replicant, he pulls a gun on them instead of running. And then they shoot him in the middle of the day. They make some snide comment about having him pegged for a runner. And then you see this redhead being taken in by a guy in a juggernaut helmet to a secret location to become part of the resistance. So it makes you think that your Sylvester Stallone type and your redhead here are your 2 main characters. There's no substance in this. Like I said, again, there's an idea, but there's no substance. It's
I don't
nothing
think
that
there's an
interests
idea
me.
actually. In the audience, Brian James has it right. If you were talking about earlier, Blade Runner, I think it's a bunch of tropes lifted from better works, used
Yeah.
not even badly, but just without any care at all.
Yes.
Because you could actually have an interesting story if it was revealed that the cloning technology being unstable or not is irrelevant. What's making people go psychotic is the level of anxiety in the civilization, because there's no external way to know if somebody's a clone or not.
Right.
So the skin police are just being paid by the government to just murder people for, civil unrest, right? That would be something worth having a resistance about and talking about. Let's talk about the excesses of a future government. But no, clearly there are clones and there is psychosis and there is a need for your weird super police, but you're also not exploring what the weird super police do or why, because they're just there to be what, emblematic of the police state.
No,
It's
they're there.
it's
They're there to
trash. It's
they're
all
there
trash.
to fight the dupes or whatever, because it hasn't been fleshed out whether these people get like crazy superpowers or something. It's just been shown that they see demons and go psychotic. Well, I mean,
Right.
any asshole with a pistol can take these guys down.
Right. But for no reason. For no clear reason. Right?
Well,
Because
other than them being black market genetic clones.
well, yeah, but what I mean is it's like, well, they go psychotic. Why? Because the clones are unstable. Okay, so what does that express it as? Well, they see that everybody is demons.
Right.
Doesn't that mean that there'd be some people that would just curl up in a fetal ball and cry? Wouldn't there be some people that would be totally psychotic and pretending to be normal because maybe if I don't act out, the demons won't hurt me? But no, we presume it's only violent for no reason. And the thing is that you showed the plane, you showed the demons on the plane, and the plane was like a long ship,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And it's like, if it is written by someone better, if you said, oh, they see demons because the clones have no soul, right? And being soulless, they see the world as a hellscape, and there's something metaphysical going on. Well, that would be something. There'd be something there. There's nothing here. It's empty art and empty tropes and empty action. It's not
Oh,
even sugar
I
because
don't.
it's not sweet. There's flavorless
Yeah, I
taste.
don't disagree. It's just like I said. I think there's an idea there. I don't think that like you said. There's a way to tell the story and make it interesting. They didn't do that here.
This is not it. They said there were 2 options: go do something interesting or go the other way. And they said, let's try the other thing.
So my final book is DC's I Know What You Did Last Crisis.
Jesus
Um,
Christ. I already hate
this
it. I already hate it.
give it a chance. Give it a chance
Okay.
because this is not what you think it is. The cover is very deceiving. I hate this cover because this is an anthology and it tells stories of several characters during major events that you were just happening in the background. And I think this is the perfect vessel for new and upcoming writers and artists to cut their teeth and be able to do something and tell a story about something that they love without getting too deep into the weeds and doing what we saw in the Storm comic book earlier. You give them 4 or
Right.
5 pages to talk about something that they think would have been cool to see while Blackest Night was going on, which is what we get in Jump Scare, written by Rachel Pinellas and art by Rob Wilson, where the Scarecrow is terrorizing 2 people at a movie theater, and at the very end, he is approached by a yellow lantern ring. So instead of just seeing him get approached by a yellow lantern ring in Blackest Night, now there's a story that gives a little bit of context as to what he was doing in the moments approaching that. You get 8 stories in this, and it is, let's see, it's 86 pages, so you get roughly 10 pages of story per, you get what kind of hero, where Batgirl is having an existential crisis while the infinite crisis is going on, and antimatter is eating the entire universe. And she has to get into a fist fight with Killer Croc, but you find out that Killer Croc is just looking for somewhere to hide because he's scared. And he even saves a little girl who is in danger because she was scared of him. So there's a little compassionate angle. Consider it, call it gay or whatever, but it's a nice, touching story.
Look,
Um,
I know that Killer Croc is a frankly big stupid villain.
Yeah.
But I am always interested in fiction
Yeah.
where the bestial, savage, potentially psychopathic villain does a decent thing in
Yeah.
contrast. Croc stories are always better when Croc has a touch of humanity.
You get a Dr. Light story where Dr. Light is fighting with a manhunter who has kind of gone off programming and decided it likes to tear people apart and see how they work.
I mean, could it please tear Dr. Light apart? Because that would
It
improve
tries
the DC
to.
universe immensely.
It tries to, but this particular Dr. Light's still a good guy.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. You get a Birds of Prey story in Dearly Departed. I don't really remember that one, so it might not have been that great. Oh no, it was actually pretty good. It had Oracle kind of following Black Canary, and she is attacked by the Silver Banshee. And Canary's lost her whale or whatever, but she's also overpowered by Scarecrow's fear toxin, who's in Banshee's throes, and she has to kind of fight her way out of it, and figures out that she has to basically unsummon the Banshee, who's made a deal with Etrigan. So Etrigan drags her back down to hell. Not the greatest story, but it's 1 out of 8 in an anthology. It's allowed to, have a miss here and there. The Point of Vanishing, or At the Point of Vanishing, is a Justice Society of America story that focuses around the Sandman and him thinking that the Justice Society's kind of worn out their welcome as superheroes, but finding that they still have the ability to do the job, even if not as well as a young and upcoming Superman would. The one that really kind of fucked me up a little bit was Crisis Obscura with the Dan DiDio story, so that tells you most of everything you need to know.
Oh no.
But Dan DiDio basically decided that Connor Kent shouldn't have been sacrificed in lieu of Nightwing during the crisis. So, and
But
otherworldly.
what if no one was sacrificed?
No, we didn't get that. That was explored, but apparently Connor Kent had explored this through every multiverse and always found out that Nightwing has to die. So he throws Nightwing into a position where he'll die over and over and over and over again, and then he goes and bangs the Wonder Woman chick. that
Hmm.
yeah, the Teen Titan Wonder Woman. So that one I
mean-
didn't.
You mean Cassie,
You know,
right?
it is
Yeah.
so strange that Dan DiDio used to do good work and decided at some point, you know what? What if I just became the scumbag that everyone thinks comic book people are?
One of my favorite stories in this, though, is God's Chosen Man, which is a Lex Luthor story that happens after what's his name? Not Legatus. Who was the guy that took over the League of the Secret Society of Supervillains?
Well, in the cartoon it was Grodd.
No. This was one of Darkseid's guys.
Oh, Calabac?
No,
Desaad?
Libra. Libra came
Libra.
in. Libra came in to hand it over to Darkseid, and basically brainwashed most of the villains and pushed them towards a religious vent as opposed to a scientific vent to enthrall them with Darkseid and the anti-life equation. And Luthor, being Luthor, was like, "Fuck that! I'm the best." But he gets caught up in his head, and he keeps imagining Superman standing over his shoulder, like trying to give him advice. And then finally, the mask slips, and it's Lex in his own head projecting a Superman. When Superman pulls his own face up, and there's Lex Luthor screaming at Lex, like, "Your fucking ego is getting in the way of you fixing this. You need his help." And I actually really enjoyed that. You know, Lex Luthor finally coming to grips with the idea that without Superman, there'd be no reason for him to be Lex Luthor. It's actually very well written. And then you got a Midnighter story where Midnighter kills a serial killer in a pig mask, and that's just good fun. So, yeah, all in all, I mean, yeah, 1 or 2 misses out of 8 stories. I love a good anthology. You know that an anthology is a really good way to keep the fat trimmed off of any good comic book. But the cover really does this
Church.
book a disservice.
Church, what if instead of doing that, we did anthologies to put in things that people don't like?
That's
What do you mean?
no.
Like an anthology about what if we made all these characters gay now?
That's just DC Comics as it is.
Or what about an anthology of here's all the black people?
That's just DC Comics as it is.
No, that's Marvel Comics as it is.
Yeah, true.
Well, it's
But,
not
All
like
right.
DC's better.
but no,
All right, these are all
did
these are
enjoy
all
this.
terrible.
The anthology was pretty good.
It made me try to escape my body.
Okay. All right. Well, now you know how I feel when you talk about things.
I will say this. The stories sound better, but I agree with you. That cover and for me that title is
Yeah.
the worst.
Like I said, it did a bad disservice to the book itself.
If-
I think the
if
book
it
would
had-
do better if it had a serious fucking cover and a serious name.
If it had been like Legends of Crisis, right? Or something else, you know, where
Tales in Crisis. Heroes in Crisis.
right.
Well, no,
Anything
Heroes in
other-
Crisis was already a shitty event.
So you get what I'm saying, though.
anything
You
other
had
than
better
I
options.
know what you
Se-
did last Crisis, which is a
Secret-
tie into a fucking slasher flick.
Secret
that I grew
Crisis
up
already happened in the Amalgam universe. Shut your fucking whore mouth. Eric.
I was gonna say Secrets of the Crisis, but
Yeah, Secret Crisis Wars already happened in the Amalgam universe. Anyway, what's your second lengthy review there, Larry?
Well, no, I only have the 2, and I had one.
Oh,
that was
okay.
good,
he
one that was
already
bad.
did them.
Oh, okay. Well, shit,
So,
I feel like
so-
I brought more than enough to this episode, even
You
if you
did.
hate it.
You did.
Church
So,
was feeling
And
victory
here's the
stride.
thing: I didn't pick things that I thought you guys would hate. I just picked a bunch of issue 1s and went with it.
I mean, they were
Yeah.
interesting talking points, if nothing else.
And this
So,
one
Rune-
time at Crisis.
So,
You
So,
win. You
uh,
win the show tonight, Brian.
Rune, did you
Yeah.
or Ayrton get a chance to see Megalopolis?
I did not.
I literally talked about it in the group chat that I hadn't done the
I worked
homework yet.
73 hours this week.
Yeah,
And then Church told me
you're
not
coming
to
up
worry
against
about
people
it.
having jobs and lives.
I
did,
barely had
however,
time to read 4 comic books and watch one movie.
I
Yeah.
did have a chance to watch the first episode of Uzumaki, but I hate to say there's nothing much to say about it.
Well, don't say a lot about it. Just say something.
Well, the thing is that if you are not familiar, because it sounds like weeb shit and it is vaguely weeb shit.
It is
there
weird
is a
shit. That's why you
creator-
need to tell me exactly what it is.
Right, there's a creator of manga named Junji Ito, who is famous for his sort of
Wait,
simple.
Juju the cow, aka Dax Herrera, aka a man that likes to dress up as a cow and get fucked in the ass?
No.
Oh.
He is renowned for his kind of simple, almost like charmingly morbid stories. He's very much like the Tales from the Crypt of Japan,
Mhm.
but with art
Wouldn't it be
that is
Terrors from the Crypt?
no, I mean Tales from the Crypt.
Oh.
But with art that is fantastically detailed and body horrific. And Uzumaki is one of his most famous stories about a town that is being consumed by spirals and the multitude of forms that takes.
Spirals like the shape?
Yeah, like the shape.
Okay.
Because it's both like it's cosmicism, it's occult mystery, it's insanity, it's obsession, and it's also literal. Okay? And it's
Alright.
about 2 regular people characters who live in this town trying to both figure out what the fuck's going on and perhaps get out before they too are consumed. Right? But the thing is that unlike the last time they tried to do Junji Ito's work in an anime, and they did it as an anthology series and it was awful, right? This time, whatever studio is working on it for Adult Swim said, we're going to take this first volume, this first graphic novel, and we're going to do it shot for shot in the style of the manga. So it's black and white. It's very elegantly done, and they play it entirely straight. It's earnest. They're not, winking and nudging. So it's very good. But at the same time, it's like, is there much there? It's like, not unless you like slow burn horror manga. And it's gonna get weird. It's gonna get wild. But in that first episode, it's not that wacky. Not totally. It's still grounded enough in reality that it hasn't gone completely H.P. Lovecraft yet.
Fair.
So I'm looking here at the list of number ones that I had an option to try and pick up, and I think I made a terrible mistake by not picking Hyde Street number 1. So I will commit to reviewing that next week.
Here's something. I've been keeping up on Moon Knight.
Okay.
And I think that Marvel really, really needs to stop with short runs. I don't care if number ones make more money. They had a about 20 issue run of Moon Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And at the end, they killed Mark Spencer Spectre Stone Dead. Right?
Okay.
Because Khonshu himself was imprisoned. So it's like, well, sorry, Mark, you're dead. Your god can't save you this time. And then during the height of this stupid, what was it? Bloodstorm, Blood Mist, Blood event where the sun was blotted out and vampires were on the loose.
Okay.
They were dealing with Mark Spector's extended team of Moonanites.
Can we get Moon Knight with full god powers a symbiote? Can we do that?
I mean, I don't want him to have symbiote, but I'd be perfectly fine if Mark stopped pussing around and started actually doing what Khonshu wants.
Actually, can we get him in full like Khonshu like inhabitation, and then give him some
fucking
goblin
wish.
gas?
I fucking wish, but
No,
not
let's give him
goblin
some
gas.
goblin gas and a glider.
I
But-
don't think a symbiote would actually be able to bond to him. I think he's too insane.
No,
Well, because-
no. I mean, you got Carnage, and the Venom symbiote already have been shown to have bonded to Deadpool. So,
But either way, the thing is that the plot of the recent vampire themed stupid event. Meanwhile, DC's overdoing, DC Universe versus vampires, which is the same goddamn thing but different stupid. They had all of Moon Knight's survivors running around fighting vampires, and they conspired to free Khonshu so that Mark Spector could live again. Right? So they killed him.
maybe
Ran a-
Eternity Storm will bring him back.
They killed him off, ran a less than 10 issue run called Vengeance of the Moon Knight, and then brought him back. Right? And it's like, look, this did not need to be a run. This needed to be part of the same volume. Just keep making
you
Moon
remember
Knight.
back
It's
in
a
the
single story.
Well, you remember back in the day when the Hulk was sent off planet and World War Hulk was looming. They didn't discontinue the Incredible Hulk. They just renamed it the Incredible Hulk, and made it focus on Hercules for a while until Hulk got back, and then the Incredible Hulk just picked right back up where it left off.
Right, the numbering continued as is. That's what I'm saying. It's like there was no need to break up Moon Knight into smaller bits. And what's more, I actually think it hurts Moon Knight as a brand, which is weird to say. Moon Knight's already
have to
second tier.
because of marketing room, because Moon Knight has a TV show, and every time they issue a #1, that makes that they think that makes people look at it and go, oh, there's this TV show. Maybe if I get into this book and watch this show, I'll like this character.
Right, but that TV show hasn't had its second season drop yet. They're still developing it. And what they did in that
not getting a second season. No Marvel show in the last 2 years has gotten a second season.
No. Moon Knight 2 is slotted to get one. It's actually getting one because it's one of the few Marvel super series that didn't do badly.
She-Hulk was getting a second season too, Rune.
Right, but She-Hulk did really bad. Moon Knight actually did well.
You know what's not going to happen now after Deadpool and Wolverine is Blade. Because Wesley Snipes says I'm the only Blade, motherfucker.
No, that might happen, but now it might have Wesley Snipes.
There's only one Blade.
Because
if they don't call it Old Man Blade, I'm rioting.
Well, because the guy that was going to be Blade walked. He looked at them fucking around and said, look, I have a career and I need to actually make money and I can't wait for you guys to decide when you're going to do this, so I'm out. So
I got taxes to evade like my homie Wesley Snipes.
Right. So if Disney has any brains at all, which of course we know they won't, they'll go to Wesley Snipes and go, hey man, do you want to do a Blade movie? And they'll piggyback off of the successes of Deadpool and Wolverine and just do another Blade movie.
We have breaking audio transcript from a Disney board meeting about this.
Okay.
I'm kind of retarded.
Well, I wondered where Alex Jones would land after the lawsuit.
at Disney, with a golden parachute.
So, Rune, are you looking at
syrup?
Are you looking at your computer screen?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Why? Honey, you're gonna die. Look, this is chocolate. Is this gonna destroy her asshole, or is she gonna enter a diabetic coma, or both?
Yes.
Okay.
It's probably Wilford Brimley's granddaughter, if we're being honest.
Somebody said her ass wasn't fat enough.
Look, Wilford
Black Eyes.
Brimley battled diabetes to a standstill for decades. The man was a hero.
Black Eyes stopped hitting on her, so she had to gain some weight.
That's ooh.
Yeah, I think we're
If I
just about that area.
I can ban Ayrton from the
I have
studio,
some.
guys.
I have something. I have something worse. I have something so much worse. All right, you ready?
Mhm.
This is Life of a Soda Addict Part 12. See how much soda I can drink in a day. I start every morning with 4 sodas on my way to the gym. Need that caffeine, so 48 ounces. Fill up my 100 ounce. That's 148 ounces on my way back from the gym. Finish that off. Get a couple more Diet Dr. Peppers. Finish that off. Now I'm going to get 3 Frescas and pour them into a thermos. Add some Torani flavoring down that. Get a couple more, another couple, or 258. Pound those. Go through some more meetings. Pound some more. Now I'm going to go run an errand for my wife, but get a thirst drink, 44 ounces there. End of the day, going to play a little college football 2025, pound some soda then. Got to run another errand, pound some more soda. Now I'm going to the movie, get 3 of these 32 ounces, fill them up through the course of the film, wrapping up my day with a little extra, finishing off at close to 5 gallons. Here's evidence that I've been drinking all this as well. Look at all those cans.
You want kidney stones? That's how you get kidney stones.
So, church, if we drank that much of our drink type of choice in a day,
I'd be fine.
They'd send us to a rehab.
No, I'd be fine.
5 gallons of alcohol?
Oh
every
yeah,
day?
100%. I mean, I'm close now, buddy. All right. I mean, to be fair, this isn't a lot of food.
Yeah, it's not as much as you would think based off of the title. I want to know, what the fuck are these things?
They look like churros.
Yeah. But also almost like bananas?
No, I mean, it's a churro thing of some sort. Like it's
Fucking Brits can't even make churros right.
Well, here's the thing. When did they get Taco Bell in Great Britain?
Did they not have Taco Bell?
No. That's why they had to make it Pizza Hut for the British version of Demolition Man.
Ah, Kentucky Hut.
Huh, I didn't know that. Oops.
Well, look,
Well,
in the
I mean,
future, all
Well,
restaurants
with
are
Demolition
Taco Bell.
Man, did Taco Bell and Pizza Hut, were they both owned by Pepsi at the time?
They were, and they still are.
I know they are, but I was going to say if they weren't currently owned by both, then they might have Taco Bell now.
I don't know, I guess we'll find out.
No, Brian, she is not training for competition. She is a fetish artist.
Let's start with this wrap.
A wrap. Fucking Brits can't even call things properly.
It's a fucking burrito.
I mean, she
Can
does
you
have
turn
good
the subtitles
technique.
on and the volume off?
She does have good technique.
I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear her say
I mean,
makes
is
me
that the point?
uncomfortable.
I don't want to watch her because you know what's going to happen. She's going to stand up. She's going to rub her fat. She's going to jiggle her stomach at us. I don't actually want to watch these anymore, but you're going to keep doing it.
So while we watch this,
Now,
mute the audio because there's
now-
some Wizards of the Coast updates we can talk about.
now, Rune. We need to be there for the live
Wait.
stream.
hold on. We're just gonna talk about Wizards of the Coast while this plays in the background. For some reason, that seems fitting. I don't know why.
Here
So-
it is. But
So
I mean, realistically, we need to be there for the live stream where she finally dies from extreme cardiac arrest.
Exactly.
You know, that's why friends of mine said they can't watch this because she said they say that we're delighting in watching someone hurt themselves,
Yes, we are.
and they're not
Yes.
wrong.
But
But Rune,
she's
Rune,
British.
Rune,
She's British, so she doesn't count as a full person.
Rune. We're hurting ourselves to watch this.
But no, Wizards of the Coast, having recently taken control of the Commander format, has come out and said that they told the Rules Committee that what they did was going to be a mistake before they did it. So that's something that's happening. So the cards that were banned are now starting to shoot back up in price on the assumption that based on that announcement that Wizards of the Coast is going to unban them.
So does
So
that
what I
mean
think-
you just made some money?
No, they're not going to get back up to their full price until they're unbanned.
Oh, okay.
And then they'll just like level out at market value that they were at, I think.
Gotcha.
But what I think happened is Wizards of the Coast absolutely did not warn them about this. They said, "Oh, you want to ban 4 cards that people love? That's fine. You should do that." And they were rubbing their hands together, like a certain meme that I don't mention out of respect for our co-panelists.
Yeah, I 100% suspect that Wizards would set this up and then pretend that they didn't plan for it.
And then, once they had control of the format, now they have control of that format secondary market.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But remember, we're too stupid to notice.
yeah. Also, didn't you have a rant about a video that Larry posted?
I mean, we had a conversation about it. Are you talking
Well-
about the what's it of Odin thing?
Well, yeah, because from my understanding, if we were playing strictly by the book D&D, a lot of the stuff that he says does work,
That guy. Yeah,
right?
no, all of his shit doesn't work.
Okay.
That's the answer.
So you're telling me that at a table that you're not DMing, a bear can't grapple if it's a druid.
All right. So here's how this works. Just a series of questions. All right. You need to explain this logically to me.
No.
right.
I'm saying you're not involved. You're not part of this table. We're going by the book, and someone else
It
is at
does
the
not
table.
work by the book.
Okay. Explain that then, because logically speaking, I understand your point. Like, we don't have to get into that. But
right.
logically, a druid doesn't understand the anatomy of a bear well enough to wrestle with it.
Right. The first thing is that the druid doesn't understand the anatomy of the bear to wrestle as a bear, because you learn to grapple as a human. Okay. So your body is different. But then the other thing is that when a druid, a spellcaster, assumes an animal form, they can continue to concentrate for any spell they have active, but you can't cast spells, right?
So
'Cause
once
you
you've
don't have
taken on an animal form, if you have fireball, you can't just throw a fireball.
Right, because your hands cannot make the somatic components, you cannot make the verbal components, and you cannot reach into your belt and pull out the physical component, right? But this also strongly implies that there is at least a component of the transformation that affects your mind, okay? Because you have transformed into the bear, so your awareness is enhanced but altered by the bear's awarenesses, because you gain the bear's perception, you gain the bear's enhanced senses, you gain all of this information the bear has given you, right?
Okay.
You're not thinking like a person who grapples. Bears do not walk up to each other in the woods and go, "I'm going to hug you until you relent." Bears walk up to each other and go, "I'm going to rip your fucking face off." Bears don't grapple.
Have you ever watched those videos from Russia? They 100% can grapple.
I mean, that is a point. To Ayrton's point, there's a UFC fighter who dethroned Conor McGregor, and there are videos of him literally training his wrestling by wrestling with a bear.
Right, a trained bear.
Nah, nigga. It's just a bear.
Look, it's either a trained bear or you're telling me that the Russians are crazy enough, and I don't doubt it, to send their fighters into a pit with a wild animal and be like, hug the wild animal. But it still doesn't work out because the human is the one training against the bear. The bear's not training how to fight humans. Bear already knows how to kill human.
Yeah, but the human lived to fight Conor McGregor while he has videos of himself wrestling the
Because
bear.
there were other humans there to pull his ass out before that bear finished him off.
Anyway, go ahead, Larry.
They got videos of Spetsnaz guys training in the woods with a bear, also using equipment.
This is true.
Right, humans training against a bear to fight bear.
No.
The bear was using equipment.
Yeah, the bear was using equipment. The
Right,
same equipment that the humans were using.
Right, a trained bear. This is a druid assuming the form of a wild animal, not a trained animal.
But
These
are trained
feat.
bears.
There's no feat that says armored bear where you can turn into a bear but you wear armor. Okay? It's a natively wild animal, and you are currently possessed of a wild animal's intellect.
How pissed off do you think he's going to be in a year or two when they release D&D 6 and there's a feat called Armored Bear for the druid?
First of all, they've already released it. I have the player's handbook. It's trash. Second of all, they've already invalidated any kind of logic, balance, or structure to D&D because they altered how the 5th edition druid works to justify their garbage in movie because that fucking tiefling turned into an owlbear, which she can't fucking do.
Now, Rune, that wasn't even the worst part.
It wasn't.
The worst part was how she did 18 wild shapes in a row.
Yeah, I know. Which she also cannot do. But my question
is, my question is, why is this content being made and no one's coming out and like saying, hey, this is complete and utter bullshit? If
lots of people are. People like us are saying it.
No, I get that. We're saying it, but his fan base is either what? They're just happy to go along with this, or
this is the problem with the D&D YouTube sphere. Okay?
They're all cringe and gay.
It's broken up into two broad-based camps. All right?
The people who are corporate shills.
Yeah, you have the camp that is made up of OSR and BroSR and other fucking fucked up pirate nicknames, but basically people who like old school gaming, often made up of older players going, what the fuck is wrong with you?
And I think she's talking about sour cream, and I kind of want to throw up in my mouth right now.
I'm not watching it. I'm ignoring it. I'm talking about Wizards of the Coast. And the other group are new players. And there's nothing wrong with new players. We love new players. We want new players. But their focus entirely is, well, I saw it on YouTube, so it must be true because Critical Role.
Also, right? The thing is for new players is they want to conform to what the masses are doing.
Right. They listen to corporate shills who tell them inaccurate information and then hide behind, well, it's just a game, guys. Do whatever you want at your table.
My issue with this is, this is a problem. I mean, when we talk about comic books and movies and stuff like that, we're offering our opinions. And opinions, like we say on every episode, are like assholes. And everyone has one, and most of them stink. But when you're a content creator,
wash mine every morning.
That doesn't change the fact that you still shit out of it.
I was talking about my opinions. Like I write them down on a piece of paper and
wash them with some soap. Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
when
I get in the shower. Yeah.
But we're not, offering information as fact. We're not saying that, you can activate a carpet of flowers on both upkeeps.
Right.
Or, on both main phases, rather. Right. Not both upkeeps. Because Carpet of Flowers reads, if you haven't used Carpet of Flowers during one of your main phases, add X amount of mana of any color
Let me use
based on the number of islands your opponent control or target opponent controls. But if we did come on there and say, hey guys, did you know you're using Carpet of Flowers wrong? You can actually use it during both of your main phases. I
Here's
would
the thing.
expect harsh rebuttal from our watchers and listeners.
Here's the thing. Let me use a Magic the Gathering comparison. Okay, I'm gonna deep dive because I actually had to look up this effect recently. Okay.
Okay.
If I was doing a MTG review of a card with the fear mechanic.
Yes, it can only be blocked by black or artifact creatures.
Right. And I said, this card has menace. Right?
That means it has to be blocked by 2 creatures at least.
Right.
That are either black or artifacts.
Right. Even though the card says fear on it, people on the YouTube sphere would go, oh, right. Yeah, no, that's totally menace because menace has replaced fear in the game meta. They don't use fear anymore. And then there'd be people like you, Church, who would go, but that says fear, not menace.
Yeah.
And the thing is that in the YouTube sphere, okay, you or I who think that words have meanings,
right?
We're the people saying you're not allowed to have fun because that's the counter. The counter is, well, it's just fun, but words don't matter. It's like, no, the difference between menace and fear is vast.
But rules matter.
Right, like, rules fucking matter.
Without rules, then everybody's just sitting around playing solitaire.
Right, but that's the thing, is that in the YouTube shill space, people like this Talking Nipple and this other Asian guy who I've run into and some other people are all like, I'm going to tell you my fucking D&D hot take with no fucking substantiation.
Are you going to sit there and let him call you a Talking Nipple?
No.
I mean, that was my nickname in high school.
No.
Okay.
No, neither of it. First of all, none of you are English.
I thought you were descended testicle.
No. Neither of you are English. Okay. And Ayrton has a beard, but it is a magnificent beard. He does not have the scraggle chin McSop soup hanging off of his fucking face.
You know, hot take. That's because I wash and condition my beard when I wash my
hair. Because you try not to look like a fucking hobo with a bald head.
I've been thinking about cutting a lot of the length off my beard.
With a rifle butt that I don't own.
It's not because I, want to shave completely, but I've been thinking about going down to like a normal, like average beard of about an inch or 2.
Yeah, it is a lot of upkeep.
I'm tired. I wear pins in my pocket of my work shirts, and my beard always gets caught in it. I lifted my head up after the meeting at work the other day, and I ripped like 5 hairs out of my beard. It was awful.
Yeah, mine's getting to the length that if I'm wearing my open face helmet, like the wind will actually blow it at like all crooked and shit while I'm riding.
Wear a bandana or a gator.
Yeah, but I'm not a Harley fag, so I'm not going to do that.
Don't you still ride a chopper?
No, I ride a BMW.
Oh, you ride a sport bike?
No, it's not a sport bike.
What kind of BMW do you ride?
It's an R1200C. You know, in the James Bond movie Tomorrow Never Dies, when Pierce Brosnan.
I have the internet in front of me. I'm just looking at your bike. That's close enough to a fucking chopper. You can wear a bandana.
That's not even remotely close to a chopper.
It's not an ape hanger. I'm not saying you're riding an ape hanger or anything, but it's close enough to a fucking.
No, a chopper has a super long front rake and a wide ass rear tire and a skinny ass.
Hold up, guys. So next week, barring any issues with power utilities, my plan is to give a Hurricane Milton review for the audience.
Hurricane what review?
Review of the hurricane.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
Tell us how the hurricane was, man.
Go ahead and play your video, Ayrton.
Should we open with the? So this is an instructional video how to flirt if you see an attractive person out in public.
How to act when you see an attractive person. Quickly look away. Now slowly look back. Slight smile. Look down. Slowly look up at them. Start to wave hi, but then change your mind. Now laugh to yourself. Now dead serious. Now blow them a kiss. Blow them another kiss. Now blow them a French kiss. Flare your nostrils. Now flick your tongue like a lizard. Look away. Now start to look them up and down. Yes, up and down. Now squint your eyes and mouth the words, call me. How to act.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.